What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Buck with you. Buck, it's the in-between week here. We've made it through the preseason. No NFL games this weekend, but then everything cranks the following weekend. Got a little taste of college football this last weekend, and high school football kicked off, by the way. So let's start there before we get to the news of the day with a big signing in the NFL. How'd we do? How'd our high school team do?
We did okay, DJ. We won. We beat a team that knocked us out of the playoffs. We were able to come back and play well. We beat them 50-16.
Nice.
We had a really good day running the football. So it was great. It was a solid performance, like the first time out. But it's kind of funny. Sometimes as a coach, you kind of take your cues from what people are doing at the upper levels, and so I look at the Rams and the Jags and all these teams that they're not really playing their guys in the preseason, and so. We didn't play in a scrimmage, but we had inter-squad scrimmages because we could control it. And DJ, for the second year in a row, man, we came out the gates like playing really, really well. Now, I don't know if it's anything to it, but man, we played. And so maybe there is something to, hey, let's get everybody to the starting line. Let's get enough contact, but let's make sure we're ready to go when it's time.
Yeah, I think there's something to also the especially for high school kids, the thirst and excitement to play somebody new for the first time. Like the scrimmage kind of gave you that, but like, man, that doesn't count. I'd almost rather have it that first time seeing another jersey to have my boys all ready to roll here once we get to a regular season game. So that's a nice, a 50 spot, nothing to sneeze at here to get out the gates.
Yeah, no, we'll see. Now, I mean, we'll see what it matters. Like who knows? Like how good we are, how good they are. But it's nice to win when you had a bunch of losses last year. So to come back and get a win was great. How about you guys? How'd you sound?
So we won. We played at Rancho Mirage. So we played at Palm Desert. The poor JV kids, it was 117 at kickoff for the JV kids. Jeez. Varsity kicked off at 108 on the temperature. They pushed it back, I think, closer to 8. But we won handily. Unfortunately, my son, third play of the game, senior year, third play of the game, he gets pushed in the back. It's kind of, after the play was over, and his leg locks and he hyperextended his hip pretty bad. So so we got, it was a bummer. So he gutted it out. He played the rest of the game on one leg. He almost had 2 sacks. He played well, but he's on one leg. And then afterwards he can't move. So we're already doing doctor's appointments, Buck. We're 1 week into the season. We got doctor's
Holy smokes. We're already at that point.
No, it's unbelievable. Tough luck. But good team win. The team played well. So that was fun to see. So, there's your little high school recap as we launch this thing. So the news of the morning, Buck, we've got Terry McLaurin. That thing finally gets done. 3 years, $96 million. So before I kind of get your thoughts on the contract itself, I did some homework on this and I was curious about it. So I wanted to see how did they use Terry? Obviously, we've known Terry's been a really good player for a long time. So how did they use him? How does he fit in going forward? And how do they complete this offense? This is a fun offense to watch last year with Jaden Daniels, but I want to kind of just get into Washington a little bit here. So I went back and I pulled up, and I want to get a refresher on Terry last year. Let's go pull up his explosives. So I pulled up all of his explosive catches. So that's over 15 yards. And this is what I'll just kind of give you the data, and then we'll go from there, just watching all these plays. I had it for 7 go balls. I had 4 on scrambles. I had 3 deep curls, 3 overs, 2 slants, 2 comebacks, 1 dig, 1 corner. So my takeaway was, gosh, man, I didn't realize Terry was such the vertical guy. For some reason, I had it in my head like more run after catch, things like that. He's a good route runner, but man, it's a lot of verticals. It's a lot of staying on one path, go balls, deep overs. Only the 2 slants. So in terms of like air yards, like they're not. Like they were pushing the ball vertically a lot, and he was a big factor in that. So then I'm looking at that and I go, okay, well then let's look at who the run after catch guys were in this offense last year, because not really Terry. He was 3rd on the team. So last year was Eckler was 1st at 420 something, and then Zacchaeus was next. Now he's on Chicago. He's had a really nice preseason with the Bears, so he's gone. So I'm like, gosh, that doesn't seem like a lot. Where were they? Okay, well, last year looked it up. They were 16th in run after catch. This year, just in the preseason's a liar. I understand that you're not playing all your guys, but 26th in yards after catch in the preseason. So I guess what I'm kind of getting at, I love the deal for McLaurin. I love getting him in there. Great guy, leader, vertical player. I feel like for this offense to get where they need to go, they're going to need more run after catch. And I guess that to me informs the Debo decision for bringing him in there to satisfy that role.
Yeah, DJ, I think you're right on point. Part of the reason why they added Debo Samuel is to diversify their offense. When you talked about it, it's funny because when you look at Terry McLaurin's numbers, you see him as more of it's funny you talk about the vertical part of it, but look at his yards per catch or whatever. He's more of a possession number one receiver. You need the explosive play. So Debo comes in, and what he gives you is the catch and run factor, the yak, the physicality, the toughness, the ability to maybe add in some high completion percentage passes, but maybe have a big yield on that because he's able to break a tackle or two and get to it. They really complement each other very, very well. And it'd be interesting because Debo's contract is up. They'll have to pay him at some point if they keep him. But how do they go about the yin and the yang of using these guys as a duo?
Yeah, I'm just, it's fascinating kind of looking at it because then you look at the tight end position, like Zach Ertz is, he's a steady Eddie veteran. He's going to be your third down. He made some clutch catches for them, red zone, third down. But he's not, at this point in his career, he's not giving you much in terms of run after catch. I love what I've seen, and I'm going to hit on this with Rosenthal on the 40s and free agents thing we're doing, but the Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is going to be a big factor for them, the rookie running back that they got in the 7th round who ended up being a real steal. But, Eckler,
he's a spring game.
Yep, East-West, there you go. You saw him there. So, I think he's going to factor in, try and get him the ball too, let him do some things out there in space. But when you're trying to find like the complete offense here, I kind of digging into just this particular team. I was like, man, it's kind of impressive what they were able to do last year because I don't think the offensive line was outstanding. They've made some improvements there with Laramie Tunsil and made some upgrades here along that front. But man, I don't even know if this thing's fully assembled yet is what I'm getting at.
No, it's not fully baked out. And, was really, really interesting when it comes to Washington, when they made the trade to move Brian Robinson out. There was a lot of conversation like, man, this was your starting running back. He's the physical presence. Why would you get him out? And they just felt like they were leaving meat on the bone, as some would say. Like they just left a lot of stuff on the table and they just needed more. And as you talked about Merritt coming over, you talked about what Austin Eckler can do out the backfield, some of those things. To me, I think this offense more than ever is going to be the Jaden Daniels show in terms of everything is designed to maximize who he is as a playmaker, particularly different types of passes, being able to use maybe swings and screens as a little bit of your running game, some of the RPO stuff with Debo Samuel, the bubble screens and all that. I can see this offense being a little more side to side, horizontal, but still having a vertical element as they begin to use different parts of their playbook to maximize the talent of the quarterback.
I'm going back through my notes because I wanted to pull up just my draft notes on McLaurin and just to give you a refresher. So Buck, when he was coming out, remember he ran fast. He was 6'01", 208, ran 4.35 at Indy. On my notes on him, plays outside. He's got tons of juice. Does let the ball get into his chest on occasion. He's tough. He'll work in the middle of the field. A lot of chunk plays. So the story that I had on him and talking to the guys at Ohio State was he went to a camp. And as a younger player, went to this camp at Ohio State hoping to get a scholarship offer and ran really fast, all those things, but didn't catch the ball particularly well. So they said, well, you got to work on catching the ball. Like if you can, we can't offer you right now, but you just work on catching the ball. So he caught 200 balls a day after that. And a lot of it, I believe, was from his mom, like just throwing him balls in the house, whatever he could do. Just he was going to catch 200 balls a day. Goes back to the camp, catches the ball really, really well, gets the offer, and off he goes. So that was one of those things when you think about as a scout, you're getting information on guys, and we've been hammering home care factor, right? That's like the Move 6 2025 theme, care factor with players. How much do they care? How important is it to them? To have that as a type of a story is a great example of someone who has a very high care factor.
I mean, that is the biggest thing. And when you begin to talk to evaluators and the changing times of the landscape, it is digging into the care factor. How many people absolutely love it? Where take the money aside, take all the things that come with the lifestyle. how many people are willing to do the dirty work to make themselves the best that they can be as a player? When you hear those stories, it kind of validates and confirms a lot of the stuff that you've heard about them the entire time. And it makes you feel better about stroking the check to a player who has kind of pulled himself up by his bootstraps. So I dig it when it comes to this new model, because I think when we were leading up to the draft, we talked about the other column in reports where people are talking about the football character and how the football character more than ever is being valued, and not about like, oh, are they good people on and off, but also about how much they love it, what's the work ethic like? Do they really care about it? If you took it away from them, would they really miss it? That kind of stuff when it comes to ball.
Yeah, that's I just think it's what you got to focus right now. It's going to be the differentiator as we're going forward. It's going to be a major impact there. All right, we've got some other news here. I guess we can run this into our hot or not here. It's time for hot or not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. We've got some trades and some movement here. We've talked about this a little bit on the previous episode, but Sam Howell got traded. He goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Speaking of Washington, they decide to make a move. They trade Brian Robinson, and I think that's a lot because of the emergence of the rookie. Brian Robinson, the 49ers, who've been dinged up in the backfield. So gives them a little bit of insurance there on that front. Seeing a lot of these back-end trades that are taking place, seeing some offensive linemen that are moving around as well. But I wanted to focus on the Eagles as we're talking about what's hot. Does anybody at all spend more time and resources on exploring quarterback avenues and seeing how they can extract value at that specific position?
I mean, everyone laughed when they said this, and they said it when Doug Peterson was the head coach, and it was Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman, and it was when they took Jalen Hurts, and they talked about, we would like to be a quarterback factory. And coming off the heels of something that Andy Reid did when he was there, it is the most valuable position. It's the position that pays you back in return. The highest return on investment, you got it. And it's the one thing where if you do discover the secret sauce in terms of being able to develop young players, undrafted free agents, cast-offs, misfits, and have them show a little bit of promise, it pays off. And going all the way back to when this team, this franchise, so many guys have come through there. People are talking about the Michael Vick reclamation project where they were able to build him back up and move on from Donovan McNabb. We can talk about A.J. Feely, who was a part of when we were part of it, how they auctioned him off. Corey Detmer, Kevin Cobb. I mean, they have mastered the sauce. And now with Howie, who saw all of that as a younger scout or someone that was in the building during that time, they've continued to invest in it. And DJ, why not? Like I told you, this was a tactic when I was in Green Bay as a player. This is what Ron Wolf would do all the time. Kick the tires on quarterbacks because you never know what could happen down the line. The Eagles have just taken it and run with it, and they've been so successful with this model. Why would you stop?
I just wrote down two things. Your backup quarterback in an ideal world should be able to do two things. Should be able to save a season. Actually, I'll write down three things. First of all, let's say serve the quarterback, right? So you got to get a good dude because you get a selfish player in that role. You still, if you're a backup quarterback, part of your job is to serve the starter. Whatever homework you can provide, whatever information you can provide, you want to be an asset in the room. So you're going to serve the starter. And by all accounts, the guys they've brought through there have been those type of players. But the big two things: could he save a season? In other words, Jalen Hurts is out for 2 to 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Can he keep us afloat? Can he keep us alive and we don't just flush the season because our quarterback misses a couple weeks? So can he save the season? And then number two, can he create future value? Because there's an opportunity to do both those things. If your starter goes down for a month or less, 2, 3, 4 games, you just saved the season. Oh, by the way, you just showed the rest of the league you can play. And now all of a sudden we've got an asset that we can market off into the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked so well for them, DJ. It's worked so well. And it takes what I would say an organizational commitment to be able to pull this off. Everyone has to buy into, we always want to take a chance on quarterbacks, whether we're drafting them when people say we don't need to draft them, whether we're trading for them when, once again, people say, hey, you already have a starter and maybe a backup. Why would you do this? Whatever it is, but it's kicking the tires on those guys because we've said it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One organization, one head coach understands how to unlock the talents of quarterbacks that others don't. Why not? It costs you nothing, but the rewards can be so handsome in return that why wouldn't you invest in the quarterback position?
Now, and on the topic, Buck, the team that traded Sam Howell to the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason they traded him is because Carson Wentz comes in. So I thought that was fascinating, and again goes back to a theme that you've referenced forever: is when you have a high pick. That
Yep.
I don't know how many. What do they? Cats get 9 lives? Is that what they say?
Mm-hmm.
I think a top 5 pick quarterback might get more.
Absolutely, and I think Carson Wentz is probably aided by the fact that he spent, what year did he spend in LA? He spent like a season or so with the Rams.
Yep.
So Sean McVay is able to kind of give some insight into how he learns, how he interacts with the team. And let's be real. However sideways it got for Carson Wentz, at one point, this guy was
2017 would have been the MVP.
Yeah, at one point, he was on the way to winning the MVP award. He has played in a bunch of different wars, and it hasn't been great of late. But, man, if you're talking about being able to get out of a situation, get out of a game, get out of a season, because something happens with the starter. Because remember, J.J. McCarthy, you still have no idea what this is going to look like when we start playing for real. You're trying to make sure that you beef up that QB2 spot just in case it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, via injury or performance. Carson Wentz gives him that. And I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke like Carson Wentz has played at a Pro Bowl level of late. But if you're Kevin O'Connell, and we've seen Kevin O'Connell work with all different types, at least from a tool standpoint, he gives you a chance to run your offense.
No question. Look, he's a good dude. And he was there. Gab just put it in the chat for us here, 2023. So that's when Carson got his experience there with the Rams. So interesting to see this kind of quarterback carousel. There's some other quarterback topics I want to hit to here in a minute. But that was this week's Hot or Not segment, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. All right, Buck. Look, you knew it was going to be the topic of conversation. We saw the first preseason game for Shedeur Sanders. It went really, really well there. Then he gets nicked up. Then we saw kind of the downside of him, or the concern with him in the last start, which was holding the freaking football forever, man. And that's, go back through and read the reports, not just mine or yours. I think everybody kind of said and saw the same thing, which was drifting, holding the ball. Like, what's the negative there? That's something he's got to play faster. He's got to clean that up. And that kind of reared its head a little bit the other day.
It did. And, it's funny, right? Because there's a lot of conversation. The conspiracy theorists are out saying, oh, Kevin Stefanski set him up for failure, didn't let him run with the ones or twos. Dylan Gabriel was given more opportunities in those things. And all that may be true in terms of like who you play with those things. But coming on the heels of a conversation that I had with a general manager where you say sometimes you put guys in adverse situations to see how they respond. Because part of what you're trying to assess, particularly at quarterback, is how do they handle tough times and tough situations? What is the resiliency factor like for them? And for Shedeur, he didn't handle it very, very well. And I know that the team in front of him wasn't great, but guess what, man? It's the preseason. That's kind of a part of the deal. And what you want to see is, can you make that group better? We've talked about it as in pickup basketball terms. Sometimes, man, you just put a guy on the team, say, give him 4 players and see what it looks like with this team. Can he make this team play better than it should play, given the talent that they have? And with Shedeur, the warts showed up in terms of holding the ball, trying to make a play, trying to do too much. And even though he's coming off an injury or still playing with an injury, what you wanted to see was him build on the performance that he displayed early, being able to get the ball out on time, being able to manage the game, being able to keep the team out of bad situations, regardless of what everything else is around. Can you keep the team calm amid chaos? And in this situation, he didn't. And, for his detractors, it was confirmation like, I told you. And for his supporters, it was like, man, he has to get better in that. And the truth and the true evaluation for the Browns lies somewhere in the middle. It's a developmental process. It's part of the thing. He has to learn. Hopefully he grows from the experience. But this is what preseason looks like for young quarterbacks.
When I started out first year scouting, Phil Savage was running the personnel department with the Baltimore Ravens, and he told all of us young scouts, might have been a scout school where we were all in there, and he said, look, when you are evaluating a player, you see the positives and the negatives, you put it in the report, you put it in the summary. So when that player gets to the NFL, you're going to see both. You're going to see the good stuff that you saw in college, that's going to show up, and you're going to see the bad stuff that you saw in college, that's going to show up. What determines the player's success is what that ratio looks like. So the goal is to now maximize those good things, minimize those bad things. I don't think the good things completely go away. I don't think the bad things completely go away. So I feel like this was a full picture of Shedeur Sanders, of the guy we saw in college. We saw the good stuff early on, and the touch and the accuracy, the ball placement, that was there. And then we saw the drifting, the holding the ball, taking bad sacks, retreating, like that stuff showed up. So the challenge for him going forward is going to be, okay, let's minimize that and let's try and maximize our good things. I just think there shouldn't have been anything all that shocking or surprising in the good or the bad, because I think that's what we saw. The only thing that I take umbrage with is the word sabotage. If you've worked in a personnel department or you've been on a team in the National Football League level, there's one S word that shows up more than any other, Buck, and it's survival. It's not sabotage. Because guess what happens when you try and sabotage someone? That's like you being in the room and pulling the pin on a grenade. Like, okay, maybe he got, but guess who else got? Me. Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, there's no such thing as sabotage in the NFL. That is about winning and surviving and trying to get our family in the same school, in the same house the following year. That sabotage doesn't exist. I just found that kind of silly.
Yeah, it's not that. And DJ, we've all been in this. Like, you do it as a coach. Sometimes you intentionally put some obstacles in front of a player to see how they handle those things. Like, that's just a part of it. Like, it happens on the high school level. I have people and parents complain about, hey, little Johnny only got 2 plays. Well, those 2 plays need to be great, because if they're great, then maybe he gets 4.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. Like, your job as a player is to maximize the opportunities that you have. And you can't get caught up in, well, am I playing with the 1s, the 2s, or the 3s? Who do I have with me? It doesn't matter. When they hand you the ball and they ask you to run onto the field, your job is to take the team that you're with and to make it better, whatever that looks like. So that's just a part of it. And DJ, sometimes, and we've said this, sometimes I actually worry more about how you respond to adversity than how you handle success.
Yeah.
I want to see you at those moments. One of the reasons why we go to watch quarterbacks live is to see, how do they handle when it doesn't go their way? Do they talk to their teammates? What's their body language like? Do they interact with the coaches? The evaluation extends far beyond what happens between the lines, and it actually includes what happens when you walk outside of the lines and you're talking to everybody. All of that's factored in, because remember, quarterback's the most important position on the field, but he's also the extension of the head coach when he's in charge. All of that is being evaluated.
All right. This is fascinating to me, this situation I'm getting ready to get into here. Micah Parsons taking a nap on the sideline, Buck. Coach Bucky Brooks, how you dealing with that?
Oh, we have to have a serious chat and conversation. And I would say it's probably very similar to what Vernon Davis had to experience when Mike Singletary sent him off. I think if you're Brian Schottenheimer, and if you know that, you got to address it right there, because what happens is everyone is looking at how you handle the star. And if you handle the star with kid gloves, now you have no credibility when it comes to everybody else. Like, you can't be the hardline disciplinarian if you don't address this thing with Micah Parsons. Hopefully in the team meeting, he not only addressed it to Micah, but he addressed it in front of the entire team and put down some parameters about what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. But I will say this with Micah, that is unacceptable as a professional to be laying on the table like that. Regardless of the contract dispute and all that, it's disrespectful to your teammates when you do that. So if you're showing up and you're there, then you got to be all the way there. If you're not, then don't be around. But if you're there, you need to be a good teammate. You need to be there for your guys. You can't lay and eat Doritos and all that other stuff that people were talking about him doing on the 10. Like, it's just disrespectful.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, man, because it's in the old days, the player just wouldn't be there. Like if you're having this type of a dispute, he wouldn't be in. But now, because of CBA, like, it's this hold in thing versus the hold out thing.
And I'm gonna say this, DJ. I blame the team.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a hold in my mind.
Yeah.
If you show up, you're working. Or don't show up and hold out. But you're not going to get the best of both worlds where, I'm not going to find you because I'm here, but I'm not going to do the work. You're in or you're out. There's no way in between. And when teams take that hard line stance, then players and their representatives have to make tough choices on how we're going to handle the tough contract negotiation.
Yeah, it's a bad look all the way around. And for a team that's, look, they've got a talented team there. I mean, this is a playoff caliber team. If they can get everybody kind of rowing the boat in the same direction. But I don't remember anything like this. It's been a minute since we've seen something this. It's not
good. It's not what you want to see, and it needs to be addressed. And as much as I just blame Micah Parsons for his behavior, look, man, Jerry Jones is just as responsible because this is a negotiation that, regardless of whether you try to do it directly with the player, if a player has a representative, you got to talk to the agent. And the disrespect that Jerry Jones has seemingly had for Micah Parsons' representation makes it very hard to get a deal done. Like, everyone needs to be a grown-up in the room. If you want to get a deal done with your star player, you need to sit down with his representative, and y'all need to hammer that out. That's it. But it can't be what's playing out. And I know the businessman and Jerry knows that any news is good news for the Cowboys. But, man, you're threatening the chemistry of the team at this point. Like, you're threatening the chemistry of the team with the way that you're treating Micah Parsons at this point. Like, they need to figure this out because it's a huge distraction. And I don't care how they try and dismiss it.
Yeah, no, it's a tough spot to be in there. I was looking at this the other day, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I was going back through the draft and was pulling up to the top 10. I was trying to think of, man, there are so many guys, the skill guys, playing key roles on the top 10 of this draft. If you look at it, offensive skill guys, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, who will be doing a little bit of both ways there. Then we get to Ashton Genty. We get to Tedero McMillan, and then Colston Loveland. 5 of the top 10 picks are offensive skill players, quarterbacks, running back, receiver, tight ends. And I was trying to think that, you could make a case that the offense could run heavily through these 5 guys as rookies, like potential. And let's put Cam Ward to the side as the quarterback. I don't think he's going to make the Pro Bowl as a rookie. It'd be astonishing if he did, especially in the AFC. But if we take Cam Ward, put him aside, and take those other 4 guys, chances of being like Pro Bowl players as rookies. Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, McMillan, Loveland. I know that there's, especially in Loveland's case, a lot of mouths to feed there in Chicago. I think he's going to be a key force in that offense, though, man. Like, I think those 4 guys have a chance to have outstanding rookie years.
He absolutely does. And I'm going to say this, DJ. I don't know if you saw the clip that went viral about Colston Loveland performing at the rookie show where he did
I did not.
Yeah. He's one of your guys. He's an R&B lover.
Oh, so nice.
He did some singing, and as they would say in the community, we can invite him to the cookout. He has some rhythm in those things, and I think that bodes well his connectivity. But he's a really good player, and you saw in that game where they really showcased him and Cole Kmet and those guys, Cole Kmet, that this tight end thing they got is going to be special. But of all the guys that you name in terms of being a Pro Bowler, to me, I'll put my money on Ashton Genty. I think Genty is going to have an opportunity to touch the ball a ton. And anyone who knows Pete Carroll knows they want to run the football. And they want to have a decidedly, run-pass ratio that tips in favor of the run game because that's going to allow them to control the game. It is also going to set Geno Smith up for success. So to me, Genty is going to be in that mix. Those other guys are going to have big splash plays, and maybe they can earn the right. But I just see a heavy workload for Ashton Genty as an RB1 for the Raiders.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it runs to it's him and Bowers. I mean, it's going to be a 2-headed monster there with what they're doing. But my thing is when you look at it, and look, Chuba Hubbard's a good player. Xavier Legette, is hopefully going to continue to take that next step. But, I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that offense could run through McMillan. Like, I think you can make a case halfway through the year, he'd be their best offensive player. I don't think that's crazy at all.
Okay, and once again, I'm going to say this. And, man, in the hysteria of the pre-draft process, Ted McMillan, T-Mac caught a lot of strays, right? There were a lot of people that kind of questioned. And then when you see him, you're like, oh, yeah, this is the guy that I've seen since he was at Servite
Yeah.
whatever.
High school
Like
kid.
just dominating. And like he has a connection when it comes to ball skills and those things. And when we're scouts, and even though it's preseason, I think it's imperative that we dig a little deeper, that you make sure that you understand who the kid is when we make these evaluations. Like he looks like DJ. He could be really special. And the chemistry that he already has with Bryce Young can't be underestimated.
So talked about those guys as being key pieces. I think Genty would say offense runs through him.
Yeah.
McMillan, by the halfway point of the year, I think he could be their kind of key guy on their offense.
He's clear number one. Yeah.
Then you get Loveland, who's in just a really crowded group. He's going to be a supporting actor. He's going to be a really good player in that. So then that gets us to the fourth guy. Again, Cam Ward's off to the side, and this is the one you have the inside scoop on, Buck. Now that we've made it through the whole training camp, I know he hasn't been totally healthy, but how do you see the role offensively for Travis Hunter emerging alongside BTJ, who might be in the mix to be the best receiver in the NFL?
Starting wide receiver, part-time cornerback. Starting wide receiver who will have major opportunities as a slot receiver. Now, if he wants his role to expand, he's going to have to learn how to play on the outside because right now they have him slotted as F only, so he's playing in the slot. But if they want to go 2 tight end sets, he has to learn Z to be able to stay on the field. And so Travis Hunter has to really understand the playbook, get into it so he can stay on the field and be a 100% guy on offense. But DJ, his ball skills are terrific. I would say that he is a better ball catcher than BTJ in terms of like hands, consistency, how natural and easy it is. BTJ is a better route runner and more refined. But these two guys could really help Trevor Lawrence finally become the guy that many of us saw when he was at Clemson and everyone was amazed. And we're talking about him being a generational talent. But Travis Hunter has to get in there. Then on defense, look, man, I think defense is easy for him. He has to make sure that he's a solid, incredible tackler. He has to be consistent on that edge. But in terms of coverage, it's easy. I mean, he see ball, get ball, his hands, his range, playing in zone where he can kind of see it and anticipate it. He has all of those things. But his major contributions have to be on offense first, defense second.
They given him any opportunities I know have been nicked. Will he get any opportunities in the return game?
I don't think that's going to be his jam. I think they have other guys. I think they want him to concentrate on, hey, man, being great at wide receiver, working into the rotation at defensive back. I think that would overburden him maybe, having to be a 3-phase player. If they can get him to be 1.5, like a 1.5 way player, I think that would be success this year. And then maybe it expands as he gets into year 2 and year 3.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see him. It's an exciting top 10. And then with Cam Ward, I thought he showed out well in the preseason. You can see the ability is all there. My goal for him this year is to just give us some moments, man. Give us some excitement on a team that desperately needs it. Calvin Ridley's going to catch 1 billion balls from him. He loves him. They have a good chemistry already that's developed. So I don't know how good that team's going to be, but he is going to be fun to watch. He's going to make that team less boring is what I've been telling everybody. So excited about this top 10. And I'll tell you that on top of that, we're just talking offensive guys here. With this group, got a couple offensive tackles in there as well, and Membu and Will Campbell. But I would say this is and I don't think this is any type of a bold prediction, but I could see 4 games into the season, Buck, the conversation could be had of like, I love Cam Ward and Cam Ward's exciting, but man, should they have taken Abdul Carter with the first overall pick? Like that, I could see that conversation. He is going to be outstanding. He made that transition. Look, that game is slow. It looked very slow for him.
Yeah, look, man, I'm going to say this, and there was a lot of like jokes and barbs thrown the Giants' way, and part of that was due to the Hard Knocks behind the scene of the conversation. They had a little egg on their face with the Saquon thing. Yeah. But I will say this, right now, it looks like they knocked it out of the park with their first picks. If Abdul Carter plays like we're speculating that he's going to play with this front four with Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau and those guys, if he becomes the player that we think, and their defense plays like they traditionally play when they have elite playmakers up front, they're going to have a chance to kind of sneak into the conversation, being very competitive for the postseason. And then Jackson Dart settling in even quicker than many of us thought. Man, I think the clock is ticking on how long before we see the Jackson Dart show, because Brian Daboll has already shown his ability to adapt some of that Ole Miss stuff. The Giants offense has some of that Ole Miss featured in, baked into it, that you can see Jackson Dart having success right away. And I just remember first year he won 11 games with Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
Danny Jones coming in, and they did some things. They were creative. This is a better athlete than Danny Dimes. I think he can do some different things to really help this offense get jump started.
Yeah, no question. Excited for the Giants, man. They're going to be fun to watch. All right, that was a fun one today, Buck. We'll be back as we start launching into all of our preview stuff as the season is right around the corner. Also, man, it was so great to see college football back. We might jump into that a little bit as well when we get back with you on Thursday. So that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.